Okay, so welcome back, guys. This is going to be Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, Part 2. So for guys who are listening to this podcast on YouTube or on Spotify, so for the full episode, for guys who aren't from Quebec, there's a reality show called Occupation Double. It's a reality show. You go there to find love, right? So the auditions, they're due before April 14th. So I got to send my audition tape. So I'm going to do it right now, but it has to be in French. Just so you guys know, if you don't understand French, you're probably not going to understand what I'm going to say, but I'm just going to do a quick 2 minutes of audition for the reality show that is in Quebec. So I'm going to be doing it in French. And then I'll be doing, of course, the episode, which is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, Part 2. So let me do the audition first. Bonjour, Occupation Double. Je m'appelle André Delic, 24 ans. Je suis étudiant à l'université. Je suis posé de finir cette année, mais il me reste 1 ou 2 cours. Je suis bartender à temps partiel. Bientôt, je vais me trouver une vraie job une fois que je finis mon université. J'étudie en sociologie à l'Université d'Ottawa. Qu'est-ce que j'aime faire dans la vie? J'aime beaucoup voyager, je fais des podcasts, j'aime jouer au soccer, j'aime aller au gym. Je suis très extraverti, j'aime parler avec le monde, rencontrer des nouvelles personnes, des nouvelles gens, femmes, hommes. Peu importe quoi qui s'identifie, j'aime parler avec des nouveaux gens, faire de nouveaux amis. Voyager, où que j'ai voyagé beaucoup en Europe. Je suis d'origine serbe. Souvent, vous allez entendre mon petit accent qui joue les airs. Je suis d'origine serbe, j'aime beaucoup voyager en Europe. Je suis allé beaucoup en Italie, en Serbie, voir ma famille. Pas mal l'Europe en général. J'aime beaucoup jouer au soccer. Je suis un ancien gros joueur de soccer. Je jouais plus compétitif avant quand j'étais plus jeune. Mais là, une fois, j'ai eu l'âge de peut-être 20, 21, avec l'université, la job. Puis maintenant, récemment, je fais beaucoup de podcasts. Fait un peu moins de soccer compétitif. Mais je joue encore beaucoup de soccer avec mes amis pour le fun. Puis juste garder la shape, courir, parler avec mes amis, avoir du fun avec mes amis, c'est très le fun. J'aime écouter de la musique. Quel genre de musique? Pas mal. Tu sais quoi, j'étais le genre de gars qui était beaucoup sur le country, qui était beaucoup sur ce genre de style de musique-là. Même sur le techno, j'étais beaucoup. Mais là, maintenant, comme il y a une fille qui m'a fait découvrir du country, puis comme pour de vrai, il y a de la bonne musique country. Fait que, comme il y a des chansons que j'aime, puis comme je dis maintenant, j'aime tous les genres de musique jusqu'à temps que la chanson est bonne. Quand je m'en fous, c'est quel genre de musique, je m'en fous c'est qui le fait, je m'en fous de l'air de quoi, je m'en fous c'est qui. Si la chanson est bonne, j'aime la chanson. Fait que, avant, j'étais beaucoup sur le country. Là, j'étais pas sur le country parce qu'il y a des chansons actually qui sont vraiment bonnes. Quoi d'autre je peux dire? Pourquoi je vais à la OD? Dans le passé, j'ai eu plein de relations avec les filles. Ça n'a jamais bien été. Quelle raison? Il y a plein de raisons pourquoi ça n'a pas bien été. Bien sûr, je ne suis pas parfait. Elle n'est pas parfaite non plus. Fait que c'est sûr qu'il y a des choses que moi j'ai faites que c'est pas la meilleure affaire que j'ai pu faire. Ou elle, bien sûr. Mais j'ai eu plein, en étant bartender, j'ai eu plein de relations qui sont courtes, qui n'ont pas beaucoup de meaning derrière. Ça fait depuis que j'ai 17 ans que je travaille dans un nightclub. Je travaillais au Shaker à Gatineau avant, de 17 à 19. Puis j'ai rentré au Mardi Gras, qui est un club à Gatineau. Fait que j'ai toujours été dans ce scène-là, dans ce scene-là, dans ce scenery-là. Puis, en étant dans ce scenery-là, il y a beaucoup de, comme je t'ai dit, de relations courtes, de juste comme pour le fun, puis rien de stable ou de sérieux, ou de créer quelque chose qui est plus stable puis plus sérieux dans le futur. Mais là, en venant à l'âge de 24 ans, je vais avoir 25 en juillet. J'ai bientôt fini mon bac. Je vais avoir fini mon bac en juin. Il me reste un cours à prendre pendant l'été qui est de mai en juin. Là, en finissant mon bac, là, tu sais, je vais rentrer dans... Comme, bien sûr, ça se peut que je garde ma job de bartender la fin de semaine puis une couple de journées le soir de la semaine. Mais là, je vais avoir ma vraie job du lundi au vendredi, un 40 heures. Puis bien sûr, je deviens de plus en plus vieux. Fait que là, veux pas, je commence à regarder pour quelque chose de plus stable avec une fille, avec une femme. Puis là, bien sûr, moi, je suis jamais le genre de gars à... Il faut que je sois en couple. Moi, si je rencontre une fille, j'ai pas d'intention de base avec. J'en rencontre. Bien sûr, j'ai pas d'intention de base, comme j'ai dit. Je planifie pas direct. Je connais du monde, j'ai des amis où ils rencontrent une fille. Puis une journée après, ils veulent direct la marier. Moi, je suis pas ce genre de gars-là. Moi, c'est vraiment plus... Une fois que je rencontre une fille, je dis toujours, tu sais quoi? Moi, je suis pas ici juste pour le sexe, mais je suis pas ici pour te marier non plus. Je suis ici pour voir t'es quel genre de fille, voir si on va bien matcher, puis voir à la fin de la journée, ça va finir comment. Jusqu'à date, c'est toutes des relations courtes. Pas parce que je visais juste pour du sexe puis pour du plaisir, juste plus que je passais du temps avec, plus que je voyais que ça allait pas fonctionner. Fait que j'étais comme, tu sais quoi, c'est mieux qu'on coupe ça maintenant, comme ça, il y a moins d'émotions à la fin de la journée. Puis, il n'y a pas quelqu'un qui tombe en amour. Puis là, après 1 an, si après 3 mois, je savais que ça allait pas fonctionner, puis là, si je fais par exprès pour rester avec, tu sais, peut-être ça va fonctionner, mais après 1 an, on est plus proche, il y a plus d'émotions. Puis là, c'est juste plus dur de couper les choses parce qu'ils doivent se faire couper, parce que je le vois que ça va pas fonctionner. Des fois, les filles disent que je suis trop rationnel, que je vais être un peu moins rationnel quand ça vient à des choses d'amour et tout. Ça se peut, mais j'ai toujours été un gars très rationnel. Puis peut-être je vais être plus laisser mon côté émotionnel quand ça vient aux filles, puis aux relations, puis à l'amour, puis tout ça. Mais je suis comme ça. Puis c'est quoi, quand une fille me dit quelque chose à propos de moi, je suis pas non plus trop égoïste ou narcissique pour dire non, t'as zéro raison. T'as pas raison, je suis parfait, moi, c'est pas moi. Non, je suis confiant à dire que j'ai plein d'affaires que je fais mal dans la vie. J'ai plein de défauts comme chaque être humain. Une personne est parfaite. Je travaille, mais moi, comment je vois ça, c'est que chaque jour, tu essaies d'être la meilleure personne de toi, d'être une meilleure personne de qui tu étais hier. Fait que si chaque jour, j'avais une meilleure personne, pour moi, j'ai gagné la journée. Je vais day by day, step by step, je vais être une meilleure personne. Je me compare toujours à qui j'étais hier. Puis je pense que c'est la meilleure façon de vivre, même quand ça vient aux relations. Comment moi je vois, c'est que j'ai jamais eu de mauvaise relation avec une fille. En voulant dire que tout le temps que j'ai passé avec une fille, puis ça a juste tombé qu'on va rien avoir ensemble, je vois pas ça comme une perte de temps. Je vois ça comme une leçon, comme tu sais quoi, on a eu peut-être 3 mois ensemble, on va pas se marier, c'est fini. Mais dans ces 3 mois-là, tu sais quoi, j'ai appris à être plus patient. J'ai appris à être, peu importe ça soit quoi, mais moi je sais que plein de monde, je connais mes amis qui disent je viens de perdre 3 mois avec cette fille-là. Moi, j'ai jamais vu ça, comme je viens de perdre 3 mois ou 4 mois, peu importe avec une fille. Moi, je vois ça plus comme j'ai vécu la vie, j'ai vécu ma vie, j'ai appris des choses, quoi faire, quoi pas faire. Puis moi, c'est comme ça que j'ai cette philosophie-là quand ça vient aux relations, puis aux femmes, puis aux relations hommes-femmes, puis même peu importe qui autre. Mais je sais pas quoi d'autre à ajouter. I guess vous avez dit 3 minutes. I guess quoi d'autre je peux parler de moi? 24 ans, origine serbe. J'aime faire des podcasts, j'aime voyager. J'aime beaucoup jouer au soccer, je vais beaucoup au gym. J'aime être en shape. Je trouve qu'un corps en shape, c'est pas juste pour le visuel, mais c'est aussi mentalement, tu te sens beaucoup mieux. Tu te sens beaucoup mieux. Je pense que le gym, je pense même que les résultats physiques, c'est secondary. Puis le first, c'est actually comment que mentalement, tu te sens mieux. Tu es plus clair mentalement. Puis moi, comment je vois ça, c'est qu'aller au gym, number one, c'est pour mon mental. Puis là, bien sûr que tu as un corps qui paraît mieux, tu es plus en shape, tu es plus en santé physiquement. Ça, c'est les effets secondaires. Mais le first, pour moi, c'est le mental. Que j'ai plus de clarité mentale, puis je me sens plus confiant. Bien sûr, quand je fais quelque chose que j'ai pas le goût de faire. Après ça, je suis fier de moi, puis je suis plus confiant, puis j'ai plus d'énergie pour aller conquérir d'autres choses au courant de ma journée. Je pense que c'est pas mal assez pour un introductory de qui André Delic est. Je vais vous envoyer ça, puis j'espère que vous me rappelez. Peace out. Okay, so guys, let's jump into the meditation quotes by Marcus Aurelius. This is part 2. I have 30 quotes right here. Let's fucking get into it, boys. First quote, begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. All of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. Now, I remember there was also a quote of Marcus Aurelius saying that when it comes to yourself, you should have very high expectations of yourself and judge yourself a lot because you want to be the best version of who you are, of yourself. But when it comes to others, he said that you should be more lenient and understanding of other human beings, and that's how you can have the best life, the most fulfilled life as possible. And like he said here, if you begin each day by acknowledging and understanding that no human being is perfect. We all sin. Every single human being, every day there's a human being that's going to do something to you, lie, tell you something bad, tell you to go fuck yourself or whatever. But if you prepare yourself mentally since the beginning of the day and you understand that human beings are not perfect, so then going on with your day, you're going to be ready for those type of things. And when something good happens, you're going to be even more happy because you understand that human beings, there's more chances of them doing something bad to you or ignorant or whatever than something good. Then when something good happens, it's going to feel like it's 10 times better than what it actually is because you've been waiting for something bad to happen. Like the quote also goes on, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. So always be ready for the worst, but hope for the best. And when you wake up in the day, not hoping, but ready for the worst and hoping for the best, that's the key for starting off your day in the right foot, the best way possible. Because then, of course, you don't wish for bad things to happen to you, and you don't go on with your day looking for bad things to happen. Of course, you want the best things to happen. You want the best people around you, the least toxic people around you. I said least because everyone is toxic to a certain degree. That's the question is, how toxic is he? Not is he toxic? We're all toxic. All human beings are toxic, no matter who you are. But the question is finding a good balance, finding the least toxic people for yourself, because for you, maybe that guy is toxic, but for someone else, he isn't toxic. So it's all a question of perspective, right? It's all a question of perspective. So, but when you tell yourself, you know what? I understand how human beings are. I understand how life is. It's very hard. But I'm ready for it. I'm a warrior in a garden. I'm ready for it, but I'm hoping for the best. That's the best way to start your day, in my opinion. Second quote, do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. So of course, this is maybe a bit more extreme, but we're all going to die one day. And like it or not, it could happen this very second. It could happen in the next minutes. It could happen in the next hour, the next hours, the following days, the following week. It could happen this year, or it could happen in 50 years, but it's going to happen one day. So when you live with the mentality of you only live once and remember that you're going to die one day, you have more tendencies and you're more willing to whatever you're doing that day, to do it at your 100%, to do it your best. And you're always going to go and look to do the most you can that day. Because if you always keep in mind that, I'm going to die one day, I don't know when, it can be tomorrow, it can be wherever. And I want to accomplish as much as I can. I'm accomplish as many dreams as I can. You're going to be way more tempted to do it as quickly as possible, to improve as quickly as possible, and to get to your goal as quickly as possible when you have that mentality. But when you have the mentality of, you know what, I'm going to live 100 years, a certainty which isn't, I wish that for everyone. I wish that everyone would live 100 years, a long and healthy and beautiful life. I wish that upon everyone. But that's not life. That's not true. That's not the reality of life. We're not all going to live 100 years. Every single human being doesn't know when he's going to die. I mean, it's like a certainty for all of us. But when you live with the mentality of, I never know where I'm going to die, at first it can be very anxious and depressive. But if you flip the coin and look at the other side, it can be very motivating and beautiful, realizing that we're all going to die one day. Every single day should be lived like my last, and every single act that I do should be done at the fullest and at my best capacity that day, and at my best capabilities, because I never know where I'm going to die. So this is my 69th episode. Maybe it's going to be my last. Knock on wood, it isn't. I hope I'm doing this for the rest of my life, and I hope that I live a long and healthy and beautiful life. That's my hope. Those are my goals. But since it could happen, this could be my last episode for whatever reason. This episode, I'm fucking killing it, and I'm doing it at the best of my capabilities and capacities that I have right now at 24 years old, this current day. So that's how life should be lived, in my opinion. So the next quote, the third quote, do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. Sometimes we don't realize how good we have something until we lose it. It happens to all of us. We take things for granted that we do have that are actually big blessings. Until we don't lose it, actually, we never realize how much of a blessing it was. Let's say your health. I always take this example because health for me is number one. We don't realize that being healthy is such a fucking blessing, man. It's the biggest blessing on planet Earth is being healthy. That's the biggest blessing on planet Earth. There's not a single blessing that tops being healthy. Being rich isn't a better blessing than being healthy. If you have all the money in the world, but you're stuck to a hospital bed and you don't have your health, believe me, you're not going to give a fuck about your money. You're not going to give a fuck. You're just going to be waiting to have your health back. That's number one. Like the quote says, we all have 100 problems, but when we have a health problem, we only have one problem. And that shows the priority and the importance of being healthy. So just being healthy is a thing to be grateful beyond gratefulness, to be extremely grateful about is being 100% healthy. There's nothing bigger than that. Other blessings, we don't realize how sometimes, let's say you have a car, a Toyota, a shit Toyota, You can be angry. Yo, I have a shit Toyota. Look at that guy. He has a good Lamborghini. He has a nice BMW. He has a nice Mercedes, whatever. But when you lose your car and you don't have a car anymore, you could be like, holy shit. Actually having that shit Honda was a blessing because now I don't have a car, and there's many people who don't even own a car. So simply having a car can be a blessing. Now, of course, I always go with the mentality of you want more in life, always seek for more, always go after more and always want more. But always be grateful with what you have, because what you have right now is a blessing, and many people would give everything just to have what you have right now. So this quote, man, beautiful quote, and I'm going to repeat it. Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. Next quote, the fourth quote. Perfection of character is this: to live each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, without apathy, without pretense. In my opinion, this is similar to the second quote. Of course, if you live each day like if it was your last, every single day you're going to fucking hustle like an animal. You're going to go after it, and you're going to be chasing your dreams, and you're not going to care what other people fucking think about you and what they care, and you're not going to care about what they think about your actions. Because once you die, no one's going to give a fuck about you. And truthfully, no one cares about what you do. Like, many people are going to say, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm afraid of public opinion. I'm afraid of people judging me, of my friends judging me, of my peers judging me, of my family members judging me. But at the end of the day, no matter what you do, guys, I did so many episodes talking about whatever. I had so many backlash. But then when I realized people don't actually give a fuck what you do. Believe me, whatever your dream is, your passion, pursue it, because you never know when you're going to die. You never know when it's going to be lights out for you, man. You never know when you're not going to wake up anymore. And all the things you cared about, they're not going to give a fuck that you're dead. And I mean, you only have one life. So don't live your life according to your own terms. Live your life how you want to live it, and don't give a fuck what other people think. Just do what you want to do. Be you. Be yourself. And when you have the balls and the courage to be yourself fully, that's when you're winning in life. And that's when no one can take your happiness away from you. No one can do nothing to you when you live your life by your own terms, That's when you're living life to the fullest, man. And when you don't give a fuck what other people do, and you decide what you do, and you decide how life should be lived, and that's how you live your life. You don't let other people dictate how you're going to live your life. You live it on your own terms. That's how it should be done, man. Come on now. Fifth quote, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of? If I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do, or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm, so you were born to feel nice, instead of doing things and experiencing them? Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being? Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? You don't love yourself enough. People who are afraid to chase their real dreams and to chase their real passions is because you don't love yourself enough. Believe me, that's the reason. Or you love your nature too and what it demands of you. If you love yourself enough, you would love your nature and what it demands of you. The reason animals do what their nature and what their, not their ego, but their intuition tells them to do is because they don't have an ego. Animals don't have egos. We have egos. Our egos can be very helpful, but it can fucking destroy us. That's why only human beings suicide. That's why only human beings kill themselves. That's why only human beings have depression. Animals don't, because they don't have egos. When an animal does something, an action, he doesn't do it out of ego. He does it because his intuition tells him to do it. His nature tells him to do it. And that's how we should live. That's why meditation amongst human beings is very popular, because meditation is a way of silencing your ego and listening to your intuition. That's what meditation is. That's what prayer is. That's what taking a walk is. That's what meditation in general is. It's silencing your ego, shutting up your ego, and listening to your intuition, because that is your real nature. That is why you're brought into the world, and that's what you're supposed to do, is listen to your intuition. But of course, as human beings, we have the ego, that fucks us up, and it can also be very beneficial. I'm not gonna lie, it's not only negative, but that ego, when it starts talking, we have to learn how to shut it off, to make it silent, actually tell your ego to shut the fuck up and listen to your intuition. And there's many ways of doing it. I like taking long walks without music, just walking in nature. I feel like it calms my ego, and I can easier listen to my intuition, to my nature, and then go on with my day, what I'm supposed to do, not just by listening to my ego, but listening to my intuition. And that's, like I said, animals don't have egos. So everything they do is by intuition, and everything they do is what they're supposed to do. And that's why, and they do what their nature tells them to do because they don't have an ego. So we can learn. We like to think we're smarter than animals. We're more rational. We can rationalize things they can't. But actually, we can learn a lot from animals, man. 6th quote, your days are numbered. Use them to throw open the window of your soul to the sun. If you do not, the sun will soon set, and you with it. So like this quote, very similar to many other quotes I just read. Your days are numbered. You're never gonna know when you're gonna die and when it's gonna be lights out for you. But use them to open the window of your soul to the sun. Go on and live your life to the fullest. Live your life how your soul wants you to live it, and not how your ego wants you to live it, but how your soul wants you to live it. And that's where you're going to be the most joyful, the happiest, and that's where you're going to fulfill your full potential and what you're brought into this world to do. If you do not, the sun will soon set. The sun will set one day, and you with it, and you will die one day. Next quote, the 7th quote. Remember that very little is needed to make a happy life. This is true. We don't need a lot. Our ego thinks that we need a lot to live a happy life, but very little is needed to live a happy life. Like I said in the first episode of Meditations, the story of my granddad. He had very little material good, but he was the happiest person on planet Earth, because you don't need much. Actually, if you have your health, that's number one. If you have your health, only there, you should be beyond happy, beyond joyful. Then if you have a roof above your head, which many people don't, if you have clothes on your back, many people don't either. If you have the possibility of having a full stomach, so not being hungry by will. If you're hungry by will, that's good. Intermittent fasting, I do a lot of intermittent fasting. It's very healthy. But if I want, I could eat every single day to the full of my capacity. Just having that luxury of eating until you're full, that's another blessing that many people don't have on planet Earth, that sadly many people don't have. If you have that possibility of having that blessing, that's also a huge blessing. Having a car, another huge blessing. Being in a country where there's no war and it's completely peace is another blessing that many people don't have that blessing, because it's a reality of many people who live in a war zone and don't have the luxury of living in a country where there is peace. And there's, of course, I can go on and on about many other things you can be grateful about, which we tend to think that are not luxuries, are basic human needs, but are actually luxuries. Having a car is a luxury. Many people around the world live in a country where they don't have a car, their parents don't have a car, their siblings don't have a car. They live in a country where you got to walk everywhere. So even that is a luxury that we have mostly in the Western part of the world that we don't realize is a big luxury. And I can go on, like I said, having clothes. Many people don't have that luxury. Having the possibility of eating whenever you're hungry, that's another luxury that many people don't have. Having a roof above your head, having your health, having the luxury of going and watching concerts. I know that I can sound like ordinary, but many people live somewhere where there's no peace and they don't have the luxury of going and having fun in a festival or in a concert with their friends. They just don't have that possibility. That's another luxury. Going and watching a hockey game, a soccer game. I know for us that sounds like an ordinary luxury, but it's not. Many people around the world don't have that luxury. I can go on and on and on about how many blessings we have, how many blessings people around the world have that we should be very grateful for. So, so the 8th quote, next quote. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They're like this because they can't tell good from evil. So let me pause here. The quote is way longer than just these couple of phrases I read, but let me pause here. So like the first quote of this episode, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. So you got to realize that no human being is perfect. We all sin. We all have our insecurities. We all have our way of dealing with negative aspects of life. And we all do fucked up things. Every single human being does fucked up things. It's just a part of being a human being. It's a part of being a human being who sins. And once you realize that human beings, we're not perfect, and actually we're very dumb, all human beings, we think we're smart, but we're actually not that smart or knowledgeable or wise. So when you realize that as human beings, we're all weak. We're all very weak. We're only strong when we're with God. But without God, we're all very weak. That's what causes us to be ungrateful, to be arrogant, to be dishonest, to be jealous of others, to be surly. But once you realize that other human beings are also like that and not just yourself, you're going to be more tolerant. You're going to realize, and you're not going to get all over your emotions like, oh, why the fuck is he like that? He's such an ugly human being. Fuck him. When you realize we're all like that, now, of course, there's levels. Some people are more like that. Some are less. But at the end, we all sin. None of us are perfect. So when you realize that it's normal for a human being to be like that, you're going to get less emotional, and you're going to get less in your feelings when someone is dishonest towards you, when someone is jealous towards you, when someone is ungrateful, when someone is arrogant towards you. It's going to affect you less. And when something affects you less that's outside, inside you feel better, man. You're happier, you're more joyful about life, you're just happier about life. Then the quote goes on, but I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil. And I've recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood and birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. And so none of them can hurt me. No one can implicate me in ugliness, nor can I feel angry at my relative or hate him. We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes. Like the two rows of teeth, upper and lower, to obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these are unnatural. As human beings, we're all connected. We're all brothers and sisters. That's a fact. We all need one another to live and to be constructive and to just live life. We all need each other. We all need each other. No one can be lonely. As human beings, we're all social creatures by nature. No one is made to be alone. We're all social creatures. Like I said, as human beings, I believe that in general, all human beings are good. We're all good by nature. I feel like human beings by nature are good human beings. We're all good by nature. We can do ugly things. Humans can do very ugly things. History proves it. We've been doing many ugly things towards history, and we'll be continuing, and we still to this day do very ugly things, and we're still going to do ugly things in the future. But there's beauty in life, man. In general, we're all very beautiful as human beings. We all have a beautiful soul. We're all very good. And in general, life is beautiful. Life is way more beautiful. Good always triumphs over evil, in my opinion. And it's always going to be like that. And it's always been like that, where good triumphs over evil. At the end of the day, every single human being is looking to do good. We're all looking to do good. When we do something bad, there's a reason behind it. And it's not a good reason. We're all good in general as human beings. We're all good. And like I said, good always triumphs over evil, in my opinion. So let me, and of course, when you realize this, you're not going to let other people's ugliness affect your goodness. Don't let other people's mood, ugliness affect the beauty inside of you. We're all beautiful as human beings. You got to learn to protect your energy, protect your beauty inside, and keep striving for the best. The next quote, the ninth quote of the day. Here is a rule to remember in the future. When anything tempts you to feel bitter, do not say to yourself, this is misfortune, but tell yourself to bear this worthily is good fortune. So when something happens bad to you, how I see it is every problem is an opportunity in disguise. That's a quote from Ocean's 12, the movie with Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Matt Damon, and the list goes on, many stars in that movie. But whatever happens to you, it's only bad if you see it as bad. If you see it as something that will make you stronger, that will build your character and make you a better person, then at the end of the day, that thing that happened to you that you seen as bad in the beginning, at the end of the day is not something bad. It's only something that's actually good for you because it will make you a better person. Because imagine this, you can only become better when there's hardships in your life. When there's hardships, that's when you grow. When something good happens in your life, you don't grow. You don't grow from it. You enjoy the fruits of your labor, of course, but when something good happens, you don't grow from it. But when something bad happens, when you face a failure, when you face a rejection, that is when you grow, and that is when your soul grows, and that's when, as a human being, you become more competent, more knowledgeable, and you level up. The only way to level up is when something bad happens in your life. That's the only way to level up. You cannot level up when something good happens in your life. You're going to enjoy it. Of course, you're going to enjoy and reap the fruits of your labor, but you're not going to grow from it. You're only going to grow when something bad happens in your life. That's the only way you're going to grow from life. So embrace it. See it as something good. Like I said, every problem is an opportunity in disguise. See it as something good. And if you live your life like that whenever something bad happens, you see it as a possibility of leveling up. And whenever something good happens, you see it as the consequences of the fruit of your labor. If you can add those two, you're going to live the best life you can live. You're going to be so joyful, so grateful, and you're going to live the best life that you can. Believe me, guys. So the 10th quote, do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. I think we already did this quote. So I don't know. I'm going to skip it. Next quote. Any man despises me. That is his problem. My only concern is not doing or saying anything deserving in contempt. So when you cannot control who loves you and who hates you, but you can control how you feel about it. When someone hates you, of course, no matter who you are, you're going to have haters. Even if you're fucking Jesus Christ, bro. Even if you're Jesus Christ, you're going to have haters. So no matter who you are, no matter what you do, you're always going to have haters. No matter what you do, you're always going to have people hating on you, saying that what you do is bad. No matter what you do, even if you do the best thing, even if you fucking get a six-pack and you do the best thing possible, get in shape, someone's going to hate on it, say, you know what, that wasn't good actually. So no matter what you do, people are going to hate on you. And no matter what you don't do, people are going to hate on you. If you don't go into the gym, let's use this example. Example is an easy example. If you don't go to the gym, people are going to hate on you and say, oh, you're very lazy, you're a slob, you don't go to the gym, you don't take care of your health. And if you go to the gym, people can still hate and say, you know what, why are you so obsessed with your body? You're a narcissist, you only care about yourself, blah, 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 blah. You're an egomaniac, you're very vain, blah, blah. So no matter what you do, people have the possibility of hating on you, and you're always going to have haters. So no matter who you are and no matter what you do, even if you're Nelson Mandela, I mean, how can you hate on him? He still has haters. White racists are going to hate on him. White nationalists are going to hate on him. So no matter, even if you're Jesus Christ, to this day you have people hating on Jesus Christ. And he only did good. He never did anything bad. He only did good. That's the image they portrayed of Jesus Christ. Now, I don't know if the real individual, first of all, if he actually existed, now don't get it twisted. I'm a real Christian by heart. I'm 100% Christian. But if we keep it honest, maybe he never existed. But the Jesus that is depicted in the Bible, that is depicted in real life, he never did anything bad. And he still has haters. So who are you to not have haters? We're all going to have haters. Donald Trump, he has haters. Elon Musk has haters. No matter who you are, you're going to have haters. So don't let haters change your mood. Don't let haters dictate how you're going to live your life. Just do what in your soul you feel like is the best thing to do. And then we live and learn, bro. That's life. You live and you learn. But don't let haters decide what you're going to do. And like I said, no matter what you do, no matter who you are in life, you're always going to have haters. So learn how to deal with them. Learn how to not make them affect your life in a bad way, and learn how to just, when they attack you, just be able to deflect it from yourself and then go on with your life and do what you want to do. Next quote, whatever anyone does or says, I must be emerald and keep my color. How I see it, of course, he went artistic with this one. How I see it is he's just saying that whatever happens in your life, whatever anyone does or says, always keep your cool. Always be cool under pressure. Of course, it happens to all of us when we say, for an example, let's say On television, you hear Justin Trudeau say something that you don't agree with. Now, of course, you have two options. You can get mad at it. You can swear him off, say, motherfucker, why is he saying that? I fucking hate him. Or you can just keep your cool, say, you know what? That's the way he thinks. That's how he sees life. I have my way of seeing life. He has the right to see life how he wants to see it. He has the right to his opinion. I have the right to my opinion. I'm going to keep my cool. I'm going to keep my energy. And I'm going to keep, like I said, I'm going to be cool like a cucumber, as the quote goes, as the saying goes. But how I see it, of course, he says to keep your color and to be emerald. I think it's just his way of saying to keep your cool under pressure and to never get too angry or lose your silence inside just because someone said something or someone did something. So the next quote number 13, how ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life. Now this quote, I'm like 50-50 on it because, I mean, we're all surprised at life. Sometimes something happens. You're like, oh, that's surprising. That's a big surprise. But he says to not be surprised. I guess in a way he's just saying of like, life is all about change. Anything can happen in life. And when you realize that life is full of endless possibilities, that whenever something happens, you shouldn't be actually surprised because that's life. In life, anything can happen. In a matter of second, life can completely do a 180 change on you, 180 change on the entire life. So when you keep a stoic mind and not be constantly surprised about, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. Oh my God, I can't believe Donald Trump won. Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. But you keep your cool. You understand that life is all about change, that whatever happens in life isn't a coincidence. It all happens for a reason. Then I think that when you see life like that, when you're very stoic and cool and calm and collected, you're never going to be fully surprised about what happens. Of course, as human beings, we're always going to be surprised when something fucked up happens. But I guess it's just his way of saying, you know what, the more stoic you can stand and the cooler and the calmer you can stand throughout life, the better it's going to be for you. And actually, when I say it like that, it's actually true. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Therefore, guard accordingly and take care that you entertain no notions unsuitable to virtue and reasonable nature. So, of course, your mind is the most powerful is the most powerful thing on planet Earth, your mind. Like I said, that dictates your mood the most, the quality of your thoughts. I know I'm annoying, guys. I always use this example, Elvis Presley. When you look at material goods and at vanity and, you know what, external goods, he had everything. So let's start off. He was good looking. He had a lot of fucking money. He had all the fame in the world. He had a beautiful, angelic voice, probably the greatest artist of all time, the greatest singer of all time. You can debate that fact. All the girls were after him. He had fame. He had status. Wherever he went, people were screaming his name. They looked at him like a king, like a god on earth. That's how they saw him. He had everything that a man's ego would want. Keyword, ego. Everything a man's ego would want, he had. And he ended up having to take sleeping pills because he couldn't sleep at night. If your life is very beautiful and your thoughts are very beautiful, you're going to sleep like a baby at night. If you can't sleep at night, it's because you're fucking constantly overthinking and your thoughts aren't beautiful. If you were at peace with yourself and your thoughts were beautiful, you would sleep like a baby. The reason he didn't sleep like a baby is because the quality of his thoughts weren't good. Even though, like I said, everything a man's ego would want, he had everything. He had everything. He had it all. And he still was taking sleeping pills, which that's the reason he died. He took too many sleeping pills. But it's the quality of his thoughts that dictated his life, and that's how he ended. Of course, rest in peace. I'm a big Elvis Presley fan, but that was a fact. 15 quote, "Death smiles at us all. All we can do is smile back." Now, this is baller. I think they use this quote in the TV show Vikings. This is a very fucking baller quote. I'm going to repeat it. "Death smiles at us all. All we can do is smile back." Like I said many times, we're all going to die one day. Instead of worrying about it, crying about it, being anxious about it, just smile back, bro. Yes, I'm going to die. That's life. Let me enjoy the present day at the fullest. Let me enjoy my life to the fullest. And let me do everything what I want to do. So all I can do, that's a certainty. I'm going to die one day. If it's a certainty, and if it's something you cannot change, why be anxious about it? Why be depressive about it? Why be sad about it when it's something you cannot change? Be happy about it. Be grateful about it. And then don't give a fuck about it. Just live your life and you're going to die one day. And that's fucking life, man. But I think this quote is fucking baller, man. Okay, so the 16th quote, next quote. Humans have come into being for the sake of each other. So either teach them or learn to bear them. Like I said, humans cannot, we need to find a way to coexist. We've always been coexisting. There's always going to be humans, plural. And as human beings, we're all social creatures. We need one another to survive, and we need one another to reproduce. We need one another to sustain life, and we need one another to be happy. We need each other. Human beings, we need each other for all things. We're social creatures. We're built like that, and we're always going to be built like that. So if someone does something that's bad, I never understood people who said, I don't like human beings. I mean, of course, human beings can be disgusting. They can do very ungrateful things. They can do very disgusting things. But to say I don't like human beings, I think it's a very bad mentality to have, to say that you don't love human beings. I don't love certain actions that human beings do, that even I do. I don't like certain actions that we as weak human beings can do. But I like humans, bro. Humans, it's who we are. I'm always going to be humanitarian. It's who we are as human beings. So we got to learn to live amongst each other. Of course, no one's perfect. So you got to understand that, yes, he's going to do something fucked up. He's going to do something disgusting, but he's a human being. Now, if it's something illegal, then he should be judged and persecuted. Of course, he should be judged by a jury of his peers to see if what he did is actually bad. But as human beings, we need to learn to live with each other because we're social creatures and we're always going to be social creatures. Next quote, 17 quote out of 30. Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow, meaning that death is very close to us. It's always there. It's always there. Death is very close. You're not gonna live 1,000 years. You're not gonna live 10,000 years. I don't care how good medicine becomes. How good medicine becomes in the future. I don't care how advanced we are in technology or in health sciences, whatever. You're never gonna live 1,000 years. You're never gonna live 10,000 years. And not only that, if you ask anyone who's close to dying, let's say at 90 years old, 80, they're all gonna say life goes by so quickly. Every single human being who is now old agree on the fact that life goes by so fucking quickly. You're never going to hear a 90-year-old or an old person say, you know what, life is actually very slow. You have a lot of time. Take your time. Life is slow. Life goes by slowly. I never heard any human being say that. Every single human being, it's like a fact. It's like a fact amongst all human beings. It's like gravity. It's a fact of life that life goes by so quickly, that life is fast. Life goes fast, and that's a fact amongst all human beings. So, of course, death stands at your elbow. Death is always very good. So be good for something while you live it, and it is in your power. Find your passion. Choose something to have a purpose in life. Don't just live life for small dopamine hits. Find a higher purpose. Live for something that is bigger than yourself and your ego. Live for something bigger, and that's how you're going to live your life to the fullest. Of course, life is very short. We all say it. It's a consensus. No one debates that fact. So you don't have time to waste. Go after it. Find something bigger to live than just for yourself, and that's how you're going to enjoy life, because you're going to die one day, man. Okay, next quote. 18th quote. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. So when something happens to you, you can dwell on it. When something bad happens to you, you can dwell on it for days. How many times has something happened that it happened for 1 minute, but you lost countless days of mental clarity because that one thing happened and it ruined your day, or even it ruined many days just because one little thing happened. But if you choose to not be harmed by something that someone else did, not to you, but to someone else, and then that has nothing to do with you. If you choose to not be harmed, or even when something bad happens to you, if you decide to not have a victim mentality, no matter what happens to you, if you get cancer, if you get whatever, if you choose to not be a mentality, to be a victim, then you're not a victim. That's why I'm always against victim mentality, because victim mentality can be so easily switched, but it can be so easy to choose to live that kind of mentality, to live a victim mentality. So whatever happens to you, it only happens to me. I'm a victim. Life hates me. Blah blah blah. If you live like that, your life is gonna be fucking miserable, man. You're gonna be miserable, and your life is gonna be shit. But if you choose to not be a victim, and whatever happens to you, you see it as it's just life, and I'm not a victim. It just happened to me because that's life. Life is unfair, but like I said many times, life is unfair for everyone. Everyone has a hard life. Everyone's living a hard life. Everyone has their own battles, and everyone is constantly having a hard life and constantly battling to have a better life. That's life for everyone. But if you choose to not be harmed, then you won't feel harmed. And if you don't feel harmed, then you haven't been harmed. So you never have a victim mentality. Always be the boss of your fucking life. Always be the king of your life. Be the hero of your story. That's how life should be lived. 19 quote, whoever does wrong, wrongs himself. Whoever does injustice, does it to himself, making himself evil. I know Socrates said that only bad people can do bad things. Because if you feel good inside, you don't do bad things to other people. Only when you feel bad inside, then you do bad things to other people. Because if you do not have evil inside of you, you cannot do evil. That's a fact. So whenever you see someone do an injustice to someone else, you can feel like, oh, he did something bad to someone else, so he's gonna fucking live a miserable life, but he's gonna be good. No, it's the opposite. The person who does an injustice, he only does it to himself. He only fucks up in his own life. Whenever someone does bad to someone else, the guy who receives that bad thing from that guy, he's not the one who fucked up. It's the guy doing the bad action, and the injustice, he's the guy who fucked up. He's gonna live a bad life, he's gonna be miserable, and he's gonna be alone or whatever. But the guy who does a bad action, he only fucks up himself. He doesn't fuck up anyone else. He only fucks up himself, and he's gonna live a bad life. So let me repeat the quote. Whoever does wrong, wrongs himself. Whoever does injustice, does it to himself, making himself evil. And whenever you see someone evil, believe me, he's losing in life. When you're evil, deep down, you're very not happy, and you don't have a joyful life. When you do evil amongst others, it's because you have evil inside of you. If you have evil inside of you, you cannot be happy, you cannot be joyful, you cannot be whatever. When you have evil inside of you, you have a very miserable and sad life. That's a fact of life. So the next quote, if you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now. So like I said, whatever happens to you, external things, it's not a bad thing. If you see it like a bad thing, then it's a bad thing. But if you see it like a lesson and an opportunity to grow, then you're only going to grow from it, and you're not going to feel like a victim towards that external bad thing that happened to you. And if they disturb you, it's because something deep inside is actually disturbing you. So you should address what it is inside of you that completely disturbs you. Once you fix that inside of you, once you go in search of what it is inside of you that disturbs you, then nothing external can affect you. I heard a quote, when there is no enemy inside, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And that's a fact. When there is no enemy inside of you, the enemy outside can do no harm to you. And I mean, that's such a beautiful quote, man. I live by it. I try to live by it. Of course, I'm not perfect. I'm still young. I'm trying to be better and better every single day. But I acknowledge the beauty of that quote. I acknowledge the truthfulness of that quote. And I try to live the best I can according to that quote. And it's also whenever something bad happens and you're starting to have evil emotions inside, bad thoughts, it is always in your control to change those thoughts, and you can do it this very second. You can change your life this very second if you want. That's how powerful human willpower is. That's how powerful it is. You can have the shittiest life, But this very second, you can turn your life around. This very fucking second. You just have to choose to do it and to have the willpower to do it and to be consistent with it. Okay, so the next quote, the 21st quote. The happiness of those who want to be popular depends on others. So, of course, there's many people, especially now with social media and in our day and age, many people want to be famous. I want to be famous, right? That's why I'm doing podcasts. Of course, the number one reason is because I have a big passion for doing podcasts. I love to express myself. I love bringing on guests. But whoever wants to be famous and their only purpose is wanting to be famous, so not having a passion behind it. Now, of course, let's say Justin Bieber, his passion was singing. But he knew that, of course, if I work hard, I can live my life doing this, and I'm going to be famous. But if your only goal is to be famous in life, you're going to be very miserable because your happiness depends on others. Whenever your happiness depends on others, you fucked up and you're going to be very miserable in life. So find your passion. Like for me, doing podcasts, of course, my goal is to live off by doing podcasts. That's my goal because I'm very passionate of it. But of course, if it brings me a lot of money, a lot of fame, of course, I'm going to take it, right? I'm not going to say, oh, no, don't give it to me. Of course, I'm going to take it. But my main goal is doing my passion, which is podcasting. But like the quote goes, the happiness of those who want to be popular depends on others. Then it goes on to say, the happiness of those who seek pleasure fluctuates with moods outside their control. So those who are constantly seeking pleasure and short-term pleasure, your mood's going to always change because, okay, let's say I'm seeking pleasure right now. I want a dopamine hit right now. Give me an ice cream. Boom, I got my dopamine hit. But 30 minutes later, 1 hour later, that dopamine hit goes down and it fluctuates. So when you're constantly looking for short-term pleasures, short-term dopamine hits, it's only gonna fuck you up, and you're always gonna have mood swings. So you gotta look on for something that's gonna bring you long-term pleasure and something that's gonna bring you fulfillment. Something that brings you soul fulfillment and mind fulfillment. That's what's gonna bring you long-term pleasure. So we all gotta aim for long-term pleasure and not short-term pleasure. But the happiness of the wise grows out of their own free acts. So if you want to be wise, you got to do something that maybe is hard right now, but is good for you in the long term. So let's say I always use the gym example, being in shape. Right now, going to the gym, I don't like it. Eating healthy and boring food right now is fucking boring. I don't like it. But in the long term, it's good for me. So in the long term, it's going to bring me more pleasure than eating a cake and skipping the gym. Eating a piece of cake and skipping the gym will bring me more short-term pleasure than going to the gym and eating healthy. And I mean, the short-term pleasure it's going to bring you, it's like 30 minutes, man. It's very short. Going to the gym, once you finish your gym session and you eat very healthy, you're going to feel very good. So even the proportions are very fucking vast and very different. So imagine like the bigger and longer version and longer term, how much that will bring you more pleasure and happiness than a short-term pleasure like skipping the gym and eating cake. Now, of course, there's many other examples. I always use this one because it's basic and everyone can understand it, and it's easier to dissect and to explain. But it goes for all other aspects in life. Okay, so this 22nd quote. Or is it your reputation that's bothering you? But look at how soon we're all forgotten. Like I said, we all care about our reputation. We all care about how others perceive us. Of course, as being social creatures, we have it inside of us to care what other people think and to care about how other people perceive us. But once you die, like the second you die, no matter who you were, if you were the most famous guy on planet Earth, no matter who you were, no one gives a fuck anymore about you. You're dead, no one gives a fuck. That's a fact. I mean, Elvis Presley is dead and he had it all. Now no one gives a fuck about him. Louis XIV was the biggest king of all time, let's say. One of the biggest kings of all time. Now I'm not sure who is exactly the biggest king of all time, but he's one of the biggest kings of all time. He's dead now. And you don't give a fuck, right? You don't give a fuck what he did. And you don't actually give a fuck what you thought about him. You can have your own thoughts and your own opinions about him, but he's dead. I mean, he's dead. He doesn't give a fuck. He's dead. You don't give a fuck. He's dead. So at the end of the day, like the quote goes, Or is it your reputation that is bothering you? But look at how soon we're all forgotten. Of course, you should care for your reputation, trying to build the best reputation because it gives you a happier and better life amongst others. And you just have more out of life when you have a good reputation amongst people. But of course, no one has a perfect reputation, no matter who you are. And there's always gonna be people who hate you. Like I said, there's always gonna be people who love you more, who hate you more, whatever. But don't be too, like, you should care to a certain degree what other people think, because like it or not, if everyone's constantly telling you, you know what, you're a fucking egomaniac, chances are you're an egomaniac. If there's like 20 people out of 20 telling you you're an egomaniac, maybe you're an egomaniac and you can learn something from it. Take it as constructive criticism, because sometimes it's actually constructive criticism when someone tells you something. It's not always hate. Sometimes it can actually be constructive criticism. It's a question of knowing the balance and knowing when it's hate and knowing when it's constructive criticism. One way, I mean, when it's hate, it's someone, when he's bringing you down, you know it's hate. But when it's someone telling you, you know what, Andre, you know what, I very like you, but I feel like maybe you should do this better. And now, if it's only one person telling you, maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about, because he's not God. He's not the all knowledgeable and all smart God. But if it's 20 people telling me in 1 month, you know what, Andrew, maybe you should do this, and it's the same thing, then maybe there's something to it. You know what I mean? Like, keep an open mind to always being a better version of who you are, who you are and who you were. So keep an open mind, because sometimes it's not always hate. Sometimes it's just constructive criticism. So the quote goes on by saying, the abyss of endless time that swallows it all. The emptiness of those applauding hands. Of course, there's a quote saying that if deep down you're lonely, you can have a stadium full of people chanting your name. You're going to be miserable because deep down you're lonely. Michael Jackson. I mean, Jesus Christ. Wherever he went, whenever he did a show, people were screaming his name. People were fainting. They would see him and faint because they were so mesmerized by him and so in awe of him. But deep down, Michael Jackson was very lonely, and he lived a very lonely life. No matter how many people applauded him, like the quote says, no matter how many people were in awe of him or screaming his name. So he had all these people following him and loving him, but deep down he was lonely. Because those applauds are empty. Those screams are empty. There's no reality to it. There's no how can I say it? There's no matter to it. It's all empty. It's all fake. There's no reality to it. There's no beautiful. There's no soul to it. And that's why those applauds, like the quote says, are empty. Then the quote says, goes on to say, the people who praise us, how capricious they are, how arbitrary, and the tiny region it takes place, the whole earth a point in space, and most of it uninhabited. So of course, like I said, those, even when people praise us, it's so empty. There's no real thing. So that's why we shouldn't really care what people think about us. We shouldn't care too much when people praise us, and we shouldn't care too much when people hate on us. Because if you care too much when people praise you, you're also gonna care when they hate on you. It's the same. It's a balance. When you care a lot when people think about you, good or bad, it's bad. Even when people praise you, you shouldn't care too much, because if you care too much, then you're also gonna care a lot when they hate on you. So you should also not care too much when people praise you. Okay, the 23rd quote: do not waste what remains of your life and speculating about your neighbors, unless with a view to some mutual benefit. So you shouldn't care too much what other people do. They live their life, you live your life. Unless if his actions have an effect on your life, then of course you should care. Like, look into it, analyze it, because it's going to affect your life. But if someone does something that's not affecting your life, it's not doing anything bad to society, you shouldn't really care. You shouldn't judge too much. Why does he like wearing shorts in the winter? I don't really care, man. He does it. Live your life, man. I don't care. So we shouldn't judge too much others, because it only takes energy away from us, and it only wastes our time, and it only wastes our energy into putting energy in places that actually matter, like fulfilling our destiny, chasing our dreams, fulfilling our dreams, whatever. So you shouldn't really care what other people do, especially if what he does has nothing to do with your life, doesn't affect you in any way, and it doesn't affect anyone else in a negative way. If it doesn't affect anyone else in a negative way, and he only does it because he feels like doing it, you shouldn't judge, man. You shouldn't even care about it. You shouldn't even think about it. You shouldn't give a fuck. It's better for him. And the most importantly, it's better for you and for your own soul and for your own energy protection. To wonder what so and so is doing and why, or what he is saying or thinking or scheming. In a word, anything that distracts you from fidelity to the ruler within you, it means a loss of opportunity for some other task. He just explained everything I just said. Whenever you care too much about what other people do, think, or say, you're just losing your energy, man. You're losing your time and your energy into fulfilling what you have to fulfill inside of you, and you're disrespecting the ruler who is inside of you. So like I said, if whatever he does, if his actions don't affect you, don't affect people around you, don't affect anything in your life or in other people's life negatively, you shouldn't care, man, because you're only wasting time and energy. And like I said at the end, it means it's a loss of opportunity for some other task. You're losing energy and you're losing time at judging what someone else is doing. You should be taking that time and that energy into doing something that you want to do for your passion and for your fulfillment and for your soul chasing and whatever. You're only losing time and energy. 24th quote. Observe always that everything is a result of change, and get used to thinking that there is nothing nature loves so well as to change existing forms and make new ones like them. Life is all about change, and life is all about knowing how to adapt to change, because life is constantly changing. It's all about change. There's nothing certain in life. Life isn't steady. It's constantly moving and changing. And as human beings, we need to adapt to it. As the quote says, the saying goes, adapt to survive. That's our nature. We got to adapt to survive. Life is constantly changing. And the better we are at changing and at adapting, the more fulfilled we'll be, the happier we'll be, and the more joyful our life will be. The better we are to adapting to circumstances and to life changes. Nature loves so well. Now let me get back to the quote. And get used of thinking that there is nothing in nature loves so well as to change existing forms and make new ones like them. Nature, by nature, loves changing things. There's nothing certain in life. There's no certainty in nature or in life. It's all about uncertainty, and it's all about change. The better we are at adapting to change, the better we will be as human beings, the more competent we'll be as human beings, the more happy we'll be, and the more joy we will have in our life, the more gratefulness we'll have, the happier we'll be. So life is all about change. 25th quote. Because a thing seems difficult for you, do not think it is impossible for anyone to accomplish. I always, the quote, nothing is impossible, everything is achievable. Sometimes we're just lazy to admit that we're just lazy to do it, and it is actually accomplishable. It can be done. But then we always say, oh, it's impossible, and it's just an excuse for you to say, you know what, I'm lazy, I don't want to do it, I don't have the consistency or the guts or the balls or the determination to do it. But at the end of the day, just because something is hard doesn't mean it's impossible. We got to change our vocabulary. It's not impossible, it's just very fucking hard. I mean, for someone to become a world-known artist, it's not impossible. Now, someone can say, oh, it's impossible for me. It's impossible. He's just saying, in a way, if I translate it, it's just a way for him to say it's very fucking hard. It's very, very, very hard. But it was done in the past by many people. Many people have become very famous and very rich and very powerful and very whatever. It's been done in the past. Those human beings that have accomplished it and that have done it, they're not perfect. They're no different than you. They're not special. They're human beings just like you. They all sin just like you. They take a shit every day just like you. They put their pants one leg at a time just like you. There's nothing special about them. The only thing is they had the guts, they had the balls, and they had the consistency of doing something that's very hard to accomplish. And they were very, very hardworking. That's the most important, is to be very, very hardworking and consistent. So like the quote says, because a thing seems difficult for you, Do not think it is impossible for anyone to accomplish. We gotta just say, you know what? Sometimes just saying, you know what? It's very fucking hard. I'm lazy. I don't want to do it. But don't say it's impossible. Nothing is impossible. It's very possible. So the next quote, the 26th quote. Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. So life is very hard. You got to be strong. Life is very, very hard. So like the cliff, when water hits the cliff stays strong. Whatever life hits you, whatever misfortune life hits you with, stay strong, stay mentally strong, physically strong, and go after it and never, ever give up in life. That's what this quote means. Always stand firm. Try to tame the fury of the water the best you can, and always be a strong and stoic individual. As you guys know, Marcus Aurelius was all about being stoic in life, which in a way means being strong, being mentally strong, which is the most important in life. Being mentally strong, Cristiano Ronaldo always talks about. He says, yes, my body is physically very strong, but it's all about mentality. It's all about being mentally strong. In life, being mentally strong and being stoic is the most important quality to have in life. 27 quote. Misfortune, nobly born, is good fortune. Like I said many times, whenever you face misfortune, it's good fortune, because you can only grow from bad things happening to you. Whenever something good happens, you cannot grow. You're going to enjoy it. Of course, something good happened. Yes, thank you, God. I'm happy. I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor. I'm just enjoying this good thing that happened. But you cannot level up. Whenever something bad happens, like I said, it's an opportunity in disguise. Every problem is an opportunity in disguise. You can only grow from it. And when you live with that mentality, you're going to grow from it. Like in a video game, your character can only grow and level up when you make him do hard things and when he faces misfortunes and when he faces hardships. That's the only way you can grow and level up as a human being. The 28th quote. We're only going to do 3 more quotes. So the 28th. Think of your many years of procrastination. Think of your many years of procrastination, of how the gods have repeatedly granted you with further periods of grace. So of course, we're all there. We got to try to procrastinate the least possible. And he says that, we procrastinated for so long. Imagine you're someone who procrastinated for so long and you're still alive. So it's a way of the gods telling you, you know what? I'm giving you one more chance. I'm giving you one more chance. I'm giving you one more chance. Year after year, day after day, chances after chances. So like he says, think of your many years of procrastination, of how the gods have repeatedly granted you with further periods of grace. So of course, you could have procrastinated for many years and then died. And it's over. You never accomplished anything. You never did anything. But if you're still alive and for the past years you've been procrastinating, see it as a way of God blessing you and still giving you more opportunities to accomplish what you have to accomplish and to fulfill your destiny. That's how you should see it. Then the quote goes on to say, of which you have taken no advantage. It happens. But how you should see is that, okay, I cannot change the past. Whatever happened, the past is the past. But now I have the opportunity to change and to go after what I want to do and after my dreams. So, of which you have not taken advantage. It then goes on to say, it is time now to realize the nature of the universe to which you belong, and of that controlling power whose offspring you are, and to understand that your time has a limit set to it. Use it then to advance your enlightenment, or it will be gone and never in your power again. Like I said, you're gonna die one day. If you're not dead now, you still have more time, but you're gonna die one day. So take all the time you have left, because you never know when you're going to die. Take all the time you have left to fulfill your destiny. Go after your goals. You never know when you're going to die. You never know when your life is going to come to an end. So always chase your dreams, because if you're still alive right now, it's because God has given you another chance of chasing your dreams and fulfilling your destiny. So the 29th quote. Is your cucumber bitter? Throw it away. Are there briars in your path? Turn aside. And I think that, you know what? Sometimes it happens, like, we got to be more quick to change. Sometimes we feel like, oh, you know what? This person is bad for me in my life. Like, he did a bad action, but you know what? I'm going to keep him around. You know, maybe he's not that bad, but actually you should have just cut him the first second he did something bad. Now, of course, as human beings, we're not perfect. There's always going to be someone who does something wrong to you, but we should be quicker to cut off bad habits. We should be quicker to cut off bad people because deep down we know, hey, you know what? I shouldn't give him a second chance because he's just going to do what he did. I should cut him off now. I know this habit is bad. I should be quicker to cut it off. It's going to be better for me and for my life. Sometimes we should be quicker to cut off bad things and to cut off bad people in our lives. And then it says, do not go on and say, why were things of this sort ever brought into this world? Neither intolerable nor everlasting. If thou bearest in mind that it has its limits, and if thou addest nothing to it in imagination. Pain is either an evil to the body, then let the body say what it thinks of it, or to the soul. But it is in the power of the soul to maintain its own serenity and tranquility. Like I said, you cannot control outside events. You cannot control what happens in the world. You cannot control what other people do, say, or think. But you can control what you do, say, and think. We all have willpower, and we all decide how we feel. We all decide the quality of our thoughts. And that's the only power we truly have. We cannot dictate how someone else is going to live his life. And if we don't have control over it, we shouldn't dwell on it and we shouldn't care about it because we have no control about it. So we shouldn't care what other people do, what they say or think. You got to keep a calm mind, calm soul, be stoic. Like Marcus Aurelius always says, always be stoic. And like he said, it is in the power of the soul, of our soul, to maintain its own serenity and tranquility. So the last quote, the 30th quote, a man must stand erect, but not be kept erect by others. So I've been thinking about this quote. I'm not 100% sure, but my knowledge of this quote is you got to stand erect. So you got to always be strong in life. Stand by what you do. Stand by your word. Be kept by your pride. Be happy. Do what you have to do. And don't let others dictate your life. That's why he says, not be kept erect by others. So whatever you do, it's because you want to do it. Not other people telling you to do certain things or telling you to do what they want you to do. Life should be lived on your own terms. You live life how you see fit, how you feel like life should be lived. And that's the most important, man. Don't care too much what other people think. Don't be kept erect by what other people want and by what other people think of you. Be erect. That's a quote. Be erect by how you feel like it should be, how you should be, and live life on your own terms. That was it, guys, for Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. My bad, guys. I've been talking for a long time. That's it, guys. Peace out.